listen to this music and not think that this is the father of a lot of the music that I came up listening to and still go back to and kind of, seek out. So this is a real treat. This is definitely, you can tell that this is kind of a forebearer to a genre of music that I adore.
It's showtime, folks.
Welcome, Andy.
John?
Music.
Band?
Sonic.
Youth?
Yep.
Track?
Teenage.
Dirtbag.
No.
Huh?
Riot.
Okay.
Listen.
Sure.
Go.
All right.
Andy.
Yeah.
Return. Ah, that guy talks too much.
Loved that intro into this more raucous, I mean, it's not crazy, but this more raucous portion of the tune here. This is lovely, and I just love what the guitars are doing. It's nothing crazy, but they're just adding all this sort of depth and dimension to things in a subtle, non-ham-handed fashion.
Everybody's talking like it's stormy weather. What's a man to do but work out whether it's true? Looking for a man with a focus and a temper who can open up a map and see between 1 and 2. Time to get it before you let it get to you. Here he looking for a ride to your secret location where the Jews are setting up a peaceful invasion for you. Got a foghorn and a drum and a hammer that's rocking and a chord and a pedal and a lock that will do for now. It better work out. I hope it works out my way. 'Cause it's getting kinda quiet in my city head. It takes a teenage riot to get me out of bed right now. You better look it. We're gonna shake it up to him. Max the hero. He came to zero on his hand.
Yes, the rhythms of the guitars are doing exactly what I was talking about earlier, where they're just continuing to fill out sound. The sort of the rapidity of the strums, or the perfect amount of distortion on the guitars. They're not leaning into it, but it's there and it's present. And it's just filling this gap that would otherwise be there. And another thing, I can't listen to this music and not think that this is the father of a lot of the music that I came up listening to and still go back to and kind of, seek out. So this is a real treat. This is definitely, you can tell that this is kind of a forebearer to a genre of music that I adore. So, and there's also a weird nostalgic feeling to this song, even though it I think this came out probably around the time I was born. But there's something about the mood that it evokes that makes me think that, I don't know if it's just the sounds of the music or some of the lyrics that I'm keying in on. But yeah, I look forward to going over those more with John. But let's press on here. We've got a couple minutes left. Wow. Yeah, that was great. I need to listen to more Sonic Youth. I've heard some, but obviously not enough. And after songs like that, I'm wondering if enough is even an appropriate term.
Back.
Good.
Is
Okay,
it-
then. Bye.
I get to use more than one word. Yeah, this was great. We didn't really because we didn't really talk much before we jumped into the reaction. But like I'm familiar with some of these guys' stuff, but not nearly as much. This is one of those ultimate shame I don't know more of their stuff bands. And it came to light as to why when I listened to this song. And I've heard of this song before. But never got around to giving it a listen, which is a shame because a lot of the stuff that came out like post 1990, I've at least heard a few tracks off of. I haven't sat down and listened to whole Sonic Youth albums or anything.
Yeah.
But their earlier stuff's kind of lost on me because of like my age correlative to when it came out and just not going back and doing due diligence.
And it wasn't played either, you know.
Yeah, no, you're right.
The first one that ever was.
At some point in my music listening experience, I came to realize that a lot of the bands I loved, like the Pixies and Sonic Youth. So it was like, I need to go back and listen to those guys. And I did or I just with Sonic Youth in particular, I just became more aware when they came out with newer stuff. Not so much went back to check out the actual stuff that inspired the artist I listened to, which would have been the smarter thing to do. So thanks for throwing this my way. It's been a long time coming. I love the intro bit that was kind of its own standalone song, kind of different. And for no other reason than it really made the second part even that much better or more of a surprise. And I loved the second part. The second part, like the really the meat and potatoes of the song, which was that part. It was almost like, I think I said this in the reaction or something to the effect where it was like listening to the father of the music I like being played like on Spotlight. Like this is for everything or most of the stuff that I like came from this song sound. I would say this really captured it. I don't know if this is, I've heard of this song title, but I don't know if it's what everyone would say is Sonic Youth's best song. But if you told me that was sort of the general consensus, it wouldn't surprise me because of the feeling that I got listening to it. The guitars, and not just the chord progressions, but also the amount of distortion used and the levels used on this stuff really spoke to me. Like this was perfect, right in this perfect pocket. And it's all rhythmic guitar. Like it's not a lot. There's no lead guitar really happening. So it's all rhythm based. And there's this one part of the guitar or one portion of the song where the strumming of the guitar is done with such like rapidity that it's like it starts to like really get in your head, or it got into my head, and that was the part that I really loved the most. And it was so subtle. I mean, as subtle as the bee in subtle, but it was so good when I grabbed my attention. And the time, and I'm obviously going to chalk this up to it being like this first song, second song construct, but it really flew by for a song that was nearly 7 minutes or whatever. And that's a testament to the song specifically because it doesn't have a lot of moving parts. So everything that they were doing rhythmically that had some variation on it, but it was all within the same, it was all familiar. Every iteration of a past part was familiar to you. For that not to get old or to get mundane is a testament to how well the song was written. And I loved that. And finally, there's something this isn't apropos to me because this song essentially came out either when I was a baby, right? But but I listened to the song and it's nostalgic for me. It's almost like how when you listen to Lazy Eye, even though you were a fully formed man when that song came out, it made you go back to places that were memories in your mind that predate the song. These make me go back to memories or times that I felt even well after this song had been out, though I'd never heard it. Yeah. And so it had kind of that effect on me where I'm like, I don't know why this is resonating me on a nostalgic level when this is literally the first time I've heard something, but it's doing that. So that was really, that was interesting feeling to experience in real time. when something hits with you on a level that it frankly shouldn't or doesn't have any right to. So yeah, I really, really, really dug this song. Again, not a technical masterpiece, but just almost a masterpiece in and of its own sound. Like whatever this sort of post punk, per, you know, new wave, whatever the song that whatever genre this fits under it's one of the best songs of that genre. I would have to say or think.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
tell me what
Definitely.
I
Oh,
know and
cool.
tell me what I don't.
So much. All right. So I won't go into all the stuff that we already covered about the band and stuff. So this is from their 1988 album Daydream Nation, which I think I'd spoke about before. The previous song you heard was from their sister album, which was a huge step in terms of the way they were putting together music, constructing songs. This album was again another giant leap for the band.
Can you remind
Um,
me again of when it was Schizophrenia, right? That we did?
yeah,
What
yeah.
year did that come out?
So Sister came out in 86, 87, and this came out in 88. So these huge steps
Oh,
were over just 2 years. Evolve
okay.
was 86, Sister 87, Daydream Nation 88. So, you know, really quick, giant leaps for this band. And this album is a huge leap. And you can't really diss their later stuff, but I think for most Sonic Youth fans, who are not just people who appreciate the music, but are fans of the band, I would say this is probably top of the tree for most of those.
Okay.
Um, there'll be people who like stuff on Goo or Dirty or later stuff, you know, or Evolve, you know, for that matter. But I think for most people, this is a much, much loved song, and it's one of their most popular and sort of well visited songs. Um, it came out the album to huge critical acclaim. It topped the sort of end of year albums of the year list for both the Enemy and Melody Maker in the UK, and was on various ones in America as well. This song's quite interesting because it's a rare, although it's chopped into two parts, which I'll go into. It is almost a rare verse chorus composition, you know, such that it is. But you know, it's again one of the first ones that did that. It's about an alternative reality where Jay Massis from Dinosaur Jr. is the president of the United States. Of course it is.
Oh, and no
Um,
wonder it's so nostalgic to me. I'm just like, what?
so, you know, some people see it as a sort of calling together of all underground movements, particularly music, but sort of youth culture and the audiences of, you know, these sort of things in New York to come together and unite. Um, and the allusion to Jay Massis, I think Thurston Moore just said he thought it would be a really cool thing. And they allude to him with this famous use of Marshall Stacks and his platform shoes. It's in the song. Yes, it was a time to come together and what I think Pitchfork or one of the others said that make themselves known to the mainstream, which is ironically what Sonic Youth came to do in the
Mhm.
90s. You know, so the first part is Kim Gordon, and it's a sort of stream of consciousness lyrics. Although she does drop in the lines "We Will Fall," which is references a Stooges song of the same name. So I'll just go through the lyrics because it's quite odd. So Kim Gordon's part goes, "You're it. No, you're it. Hey, you're really it. You're it. No, I mean it. You're it. Say it, don't spray it. Spirit desire, face me. Spirit desire, don't displace me. Spirit desire, we will fall. And then miss me, don't dismiss me. Spirit desire, spirit desire. Spirit desire, we will fall. Spirit desire, we will fall. Spirit desire, we will fall. And then there's that lovely instrumental break that starts off the down, and
Mhm.
just that starting with those guitar riffs. So let's say it's, as you said, it's not the most technical or accomplished or even the most inventive, but it's hitting some core resonance of Mother Nature that it gets me every time, and it fills me full of energy, and I want to go out drinking, and I know, and various bits of mischief, So yeah, and obviously Thurston Moore is singing this bit. So the lyrics to that go: everybody's talking about the stormy weather and what's a man to do but work out whether it's true. Looking for a man with a focus and a temper who can open up a map and see between 1 and 2. And then you get the chorus: time to get it before you let it get to you. Here he comes now. Stick to your guns and let him through. And then the second verse: everybody's coming from the winter vacation, taking in the sun in an exhalation to you. You come running in on platform shoes with Marshall stacks to at least just give us a clue. And then another verse: here it comes now. I know it's someone I knew. Teenage riots in a public station, gonna fight and tear it up in a hyper nation for you. And then back to the chorus: now I see it, I think I'll leave it out of the way. Now I come near you, and it's not clear while you make the way. Not much more to go. Looking for a ride for your secret location where the kids are setting up a free speed nation for you. Got a foghorn and a drum and a hammer that's rocking, and a chord and a pedal and a lock that will do me for now. It better work out. I hope it works out my way, because it's getting kind of quiet in my city's head. It takes a teenage riot to get me out of bed right now. That's the lyrics. Which is quite cool, and the way he delivers it's great as well.
When I listened to it, I caught bits and pieces of the lyrics, and it did give me this vibe of like teenage rebellion in the
rising almost,
through and using music as a vehicle, with the reference to the Marshall stacks I heard. So, I mean, they're obviously put far more thought and, sort of artistic license with the inspiration for the song, but the general idea of like music and youth as a vessel for revolution or something was kind of the vibe I was getting anyway. But it's kind of neat that they put all this extra creative, kind of fun, playful thought into.
Yeah, it's not serious lyrics at all. It's just fun.
Yeah, but still, there's probably some conviction behind how they felt about wanting their music to do the things, the social things that they wanted it to do, right?
And the final point on this is, you will not be surprised from what we discussed before that all the guitars had alternative tuning. I was going to write down the tuning, but I couldn't be asked because it wouldn't mean anything to it except to use those. But nevertheless to say, of course, it's completely off the wall tuning, which gives that sort of sound, which again is, one of the things they championed. I will say that this had a huge impact on the sort of alternative American music scene again, and really kick-started things through this album for other bands to follow. It really, and the weird thing is, this got radio play, and so it really was, college radio, etc., and getting it
sort of the
there.
dawn of alt rock.
Yeah. But the weird thing is, they didn't ride that wave. Others did. I don't know about the States, but like Pixies definitely had more successfuls than them over here and in Europe. And then you had the blow up of Nirvana, and that really, their interlinking got them onto Geffen, which then got Dirty Sorry, and that's when they really, Goo came after this, which is a great album, but it still didn't really pull up the sticks, the way that Dirty did, in terms of like getting more exposure, which is what I guess a major record label could do for you. So it opened a lot of doors, but they didn't run through it themselves particularly, which is kind of odd. But it's really impactful. It's a great song, and I think I'm going to end up giving you a song from each of the 4 major albums that I mentioned.
Yeah.
So you'll get one from Goo, and you'll get one from Dirty, and you can see the difference in the progression as well.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
There's some obvious ones that everyone who is a fan of will know, and there's some not so obvious ones, which I'll probably pick.
Okay.
But
And if you pick one of the few that I'm familiar with, I'll let you know, because like I said, I'm not completely blind to these guys' works, but the earlier probably the better, though I'm sure that there's plenty of later stuff that I just didn't get around to hearing, but that's sort of when I became more aware of them and kind of look for a few of their tracks. Yeah, this was another hit. I like this one better than Schizophrenia, though I enjoyed Schizophrenia. This one was even better for me. This one hit more. So I'll go ahead and wrap things up, but a big thank you to you for offering up another great track. Everybody out there and into the music world, I know this isn't your first dance with Sonic Youth, if you're a repeat viewer, but let us know what you think of the tune down below. Maybe some of your favorite albums or tracks by Sonic Youth, stuff that we should maybe check out that John hasn't alluded to or mentioned. Like, share, subscribe, do all the fun stuff that we really appreciate. And until the next time, we'll see you on the next episode of Into the Music.